Hello humans, Master Dinnerflex here, bringing you low quality content you deserve, and today I'll be going over my Banlist prediction, reaction, speculation, yay. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get straight into it, because my opinion is so important and so based on fact that this is the most perfect Banlist prediction possible, and I'll just go ahead and show you. So first and foremost, let's limit the Miscellaneousaurus. Now, I have always been of the opinion that if there is an unfair interaction at all in the game, that it should just be banned. It should never really be limited, because the only thing that does is make it less consistent but far more sackier, which is just bad gameplay. If you really want something not possible, what you should do is just ban it. However, Miscellaneousaurus is kind of an exception to that, because its unfair interaction comes with protecting all your guys, but if you limit it, that's still a possibility. But the reason I think that should be limited instead is because that's not its only effect. As a matter of fact, in many scenarios, it's not even its most important effect. The fact that it is another consistency booster, and in like addition, the fact that it is a follow-up to like your opponent breaking your board, like this is just a card you can draw to rebuild everything, is when it starts to get kind of toxic. But Vid at 1, its interactions still exist, but not every combo can get you this. And it's just like, once you deal with it once, that's it. So I think this should probably just go to 1. Next, there is no shot this should stay legal. The fact that we have been wanting this banned for 2 years is good enough evidence that, like, this doesn't... just ban this. Tutoring from the deck will never not be broken. It's not like dragons are struggling to put monsters on the board. So I think there's just no real reason to try to skirt around just banning this card. And it's not even like a new call. People have wanted this card for so long. So next, let's go to the all-time favorite, Mystic Mine. I know a lot of people, they're like, well, Mystic Mine is a way to prevent combo decks. They have no idea what they're talking about. Mystic Mine is a card that any deck can play, including combo, and it is effectively self-destruct button back in 2013, where you can just stall a tournament and win based on time. And if you banned self-destruct button for the exact reason that Mystic Mine is played, then by your own logic, this also needs to be banned, because that's what this card is. It's not a win condition. It's not a deck. It is a stall condition. It is a way to ruin a tournament experience and also, like, damage the time rules that you put in place. This card just needs to go and never come back. Not even by its effect, but for a tournament's sake, this needs to not be legal. And then next, I guess an interesting one that I'm still kind of iffy about myself, because I want to hit Dryden but not completely destroy the deck. And a way to do that would be banning Eva. This is a weird one, because in theory this is like the worst possible choice you could do, but this is a way to keep Dryden functional, and it's like an actual deck. But Eva generates, not only does it get Orange Light and any mid combos, but it also just, it generates too much free advantage for the Heralds. The fact that this one negate becomes 2 more negates for Herald is kind of an issue. The fact that this can tutor out Orange Lights to play against more hand traps so they can combo off easier, this is kind of just ignorant. Mainly because of the existence of Orange Light, but I don't think Orange Light on its own is a real issue. I really think it's just down to Eva. But again, I'm not very certain on this opinion, because this is a really iffy choice, but I think this might be an interesting way to hit Drytrons without completely destroying them yet. Next, we've got Striker Dragon to 1. This is also kind of weird because you hit Dragon Link, LP, the main source of all these problems. So why hit Striker Dragon? Well, it's simply because this is one of the most bloated Link 1s ever. Link 1s are just naturally broken, and this one acts like a Link 3 monster, or like really strong Link 2. There's no reason this should be a Link 1. This is kind of absurd. You could even arguably ban this just so the baby Chaos Dragon interaction doesn't happen anymore. But this is obnoxious. It's got way too many effects. It's doing way too much. This does not need to be at 3. Alright, next. The OCG banned Dryden. So instead, let's ban Borbo. So they can't just, like, bait out a bunch of interactions and then just summon a monster and attack for no damage to Zeus you. Dryden was never what people were complaining about in Zoo. They're complaining about the fact that Zoo just needs no commitment to make a multi-use Zeus, and this is the card that allows that to happen. I don't know why Dryden was even formulated to be banned. That one just seems like you're not even addressing the issue, you just are addressing the deck, but not the issues caused by the deck. So that's whatever. Next. Red Eyes Fusion. I want this limited just so the only way you truly have access to this is you have to make Verte, or you just have to hard open the one of. I think just having 6 of these is kind of annoying. Now you're going down to 4, so it should help the numbers a little bit. Speaking of that, to 2, we got Dragon Maid Chamber. I want this to 2 because this card's very expensive, and I just want to afford a full playset of 2. So, its effect is really strong. It can search a trap that's also a Mizuki / Stygian Street Patrol, but I just want to own 2 copies and have my deck max rarity. Next, we got Pot of Prosperity for the exact same reason. I just want to afford a playset of this card without buying 3 of them. So I feel like that's fair. Next, we've got Upstart Goblin and Into the Void. They're kind of the same card, as a matter of fact. Upstart Goblin is, you know the old theory, 37 card deck, and Into the Void. Into the Void should have never been banned. This is such a dumbass hit. I really don't care what they think. This is kind of interesting because now that we're getting to like prosperities and extravagances, like there are certain decks that just wouldn't really use this. Like if you bring Upstart back, the era of every deck playing 3 Upstart is over. Now it's just going to be kind of specific degenerate FTK decks. So let's give those decks support. So, yeah, just give those decks support, because they're going to be the only ones playing this. Next, we've got Winda Band. Just because I don't like Floodgates, and this skirts around the issue of actually hitting the problem card, but we need collateral damage to this ban list, so I think banning Winda is the best move. This way we can have Nadir's Servant at 3 and no one question it. Yeah, that's just my opinion about that. Next, I took a page out of the OCG's book and semi-limited Gamma. I think this is the proper thing to do because I do want my degenerate combo decks that I'm playing against to always like have higher chances of popping off and not letting me play. But fortunately for us, we also don't have Max C, so we can't even draw into this, so we're just hurting our consistency of stopping our opponent. So I think this should go to 2. Speaking of 2, Malicious should go to 1. That way, its interaction doesn't exist. It is now a normal monster. Oh, and speaking of normal monsters, this card needs to go to 2. So, La Jin is kind of annoying. It's, God damn it. It's really annoying because when you're going into Blue Eyes format, having a monster that can just kind of ignore most defense position monsters outside of the big ones like Giant Soldier of Stone and Mystical Elf is just it puts way too much damage on board, and it makes the games go a lot quicker than I feel like they should be. Next, we've got Block Dragon. See, here's the thing. Emancipator never got a real format, so we should still be playing in that format literally a year, for a full year. We should have been in that format for a full year. I think we definitely needed a format where we had a tier 0 combo deck incapable of beating itself. I still want to play that. I still would like to not play Yu-Gi-Oh! And this is a really good way to make sure none of us play Yu-Gi-Oh! Next, we got Zeus. Obviously, putting it to 1 manages the issue. Like, yeah, it's still a threat, but it's only a threat once. So when you get rid of it once, you don't have to worry about it anymore. And on that same note, Exciton. Because Exciton is literally Zeus, but you don't even need to battle. Like, that's kind of insane. And then finally, probably the most important hit is, I think we should semi-limit Dante. The reason I think we should semi-limit Dante is it's effectively a card trooper from the extra deck, but if you limit it, it feels like you did too much, because since this is a card trooper from an extra deck, you always want to have the ability to machine dupe it out, but putting it at 1 makes that not possible, but having it at 3 means you're milling too much for turn. So, yep, I think Dante should go to 2. It still has machine dupe properties, but it isn't so broken when you do it. So, yeah, that's my list. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I think this is a pretty good list. I don't see any real issues here. If you have any other comments or whatever, just let me know, because this took a long time to figure out. I mean, I spent literal months trying to formulate the perfect ban list. So, yep, that's about it. Thank you all for watching, and remember, Master Dinnerflax will take your soul.